And let's start with the news that you broke today. It's over. RJ Harvey got his deal done. The second rounder didn't get the guaranteed money that he was looking for, but it sounds like there was a happy medium there. Mike, can you take us through how they got the deal done?
Yeah, it was. He actually did pretty good, I thought, on the guarantee. I mean, the fully guaranteed was for the top two guys. I mean, maybe one or two more guys at the top of the second round are going to get it. The other people in the second round, they just were wanting more guarantees, and he got it. He got almost half of his year 3 salary guarantee, and before none of the year 3 salary was guaranteed, 47.7%. So that's a pretty good bump, fully guaranteed. The money was the same all along. He got the $1.99 million signing bonus, and it's a 4-year deal worth about $7.4 million. That didn't change. What changed was the guarantee. That's what the second rounders en masse were fighting for, and all of them got a pretty good bump. They can thank Nick Caserio of the Houston Texans, who kind of made the unprecedented deal with Jaden Higgins.
Mike, it's Danny Williams. I want to ask you, now that the running backs are, you brought Dobbins in, you got Harvey taken care of. In a perfect world, how do you see the shares kind of being divvied up here? Maybe who's the third guy? The running back room's had a makeover. Is it going to be much improved?
Yeah, I mean, Danny Williams Radio is what we've been having here. It seems like every time I've got a segment here, it's Danny Williams is one of the co-hosts. So welcome aboard, Danny.
Well, Mike, you're one of my favorite guys. You've been for a long time.
It's nice to not talk contracts for a change also. And, yes, it's about RJ Harvey and Dobbins. 1A, 1B, Harvey and Dobbins. I think it'll be Dobbins and Harvey. And then the number 3 back is going to be the real competition in the preseason. And Jaleel, Audric Estime, maybe Tyler today. I would think he's really Jaleel and Estime will be the two battling out for that number 3 spot on Sundays. I'm thinking it'll be Jaleel, just because he's more of a number 3 back. When you think about a number 3 back, he's a guy that's got to make an impact off 4 or 5 carries.
Yeah.
And that's more liable to be Jaleel than it is Estime, who's more of a, 15 to 18 carry workhorse type back. So Estime might be the number 4 back when all is said and done going into the season. But he also might be one injury away from just going all the way up to number 1.
Wow.
If something happens to Dobbins, Estime would make sense as a number 1 workhorse back. So right now my guess is there's going to be 4 running backs, 5 if you include Michael Burton at fullback. But there'll be 4 running backs on the 53-man roster. I don't see them waiving Estime or Jaleel. But only 3 will dress on Sunday.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my question, but you answered it right there, that it won't be a fight for a roster spot for Audric Estime, which some had believed. Mike, I read your piece about Q Robinson. Great little sit down, and I love the questions that you're asking him, having a bit of fun, but keeping it football focused. After your sit down and kind of talking with the people behind the scenes there, what kind of role do you think this young fella has in year number 1?
Special teams primarily. The number 5, and if you're active on Sunday as a special teamer, it's kind of the same thing what I just said. You're a twisted ankle away from getting some reps at outside linebacker. Right now he would be the fifth guy behind Jonah Ellis, Dondrea Tillman. Those are the backups. And then of course you got Benito and Jonathan Cooper starting. So I don't think there'll be a whole lot of reps for Q Robinson at outside linebacker, but I can see him being a core special teamer. When he got drafted by the Broncos, Nick Saban was on the panel, on the draft panel, and he was saying that this was Q Robinson was an outstanding special teamer. And that was a big reason why the Broncos drafted him in the 4th round. Darren Rizzi had some input on some of these draft picks. And Hugh Robinson, I think, became a 4th rounder who's going to dress on Sundays because of his special teams play.
Let me ask you, we can't have you on and not ask you about Bo Nix a little bit. The second year in the system, same coaches, same coordinators, all the young receivers kind of coming together, a run game that looks like will be legit, a tight end that could be a top 10, 12 tight end when it's all said and done. What's that going to do for Bo Nix? This offense just seems to be properly, maturating at the perfect rate.
He had like 3 or 4 off-the-chart games last year. And, he got to the slow start. He's underrated on these preseason polls. I've seen him as like I still see him like 14th, 15th, 16th, even 18th best quarterback in the league.
Wow.
Which is way too low. That's not what he was last year. But I think he had trouble shaking off those first 2 games, and then the Jets game in the rain, he couldn't grip the ball. And so he had trouble shaking that from the national media, from the media around the NFL outside of Denver. Other than that, I thought he was, he had about, there was a stretch of about 12 to 14 games where he was, a top 6 to 8 quarterback.
Yeah.
So what it amounts to is he's just got to eliminate the bad games and have 1 or 2 more good games. I mean, he doesn't have to do too much more than what he did for most of last season. You just got to eliminate the bad games. And, he should be better out of the chute this year. That's the big thing. 0 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, 2 losses after 2 games last year. All those numbers need to be flipped, through 2 games this year. They need to be 2-0, first of all. 4 touchdown passes, no picks after 2 games. And then when you're kind of jumping into the forefront, into the spotlight after 2 weeks, it kind of carries over the rest of the season. So all in all, I would think Bo is a big reason why, a lot of people think the Broncos can go 11-6 and win a playoff game this year.
All right, Mike, I try not to ask you too many of them, but we do got to get the one more contract question in. You know where it's coming. 5 days to go, no updates unless you have something for us. What's the latest with Courtland Sutton? Even if it's nothing, is that where we're at?
Yeah, I have nothing on that other than, the 2 rookies, getting them into rookie minicamp was the priority. And I think they worked hard. Rich Hurtado, the contract guy, George Payton. They monitored all these second rounders getting signed here today. And, so they were dealing with that. And while making a phone call or 2 to keep Courtland, happy, not letting them get away.
Yeah.
But I think the focus will be on trying to get a deal done with Courtland here between now and, is it Tuesday? Tuesday,
yep.
Report day? Yeah, for the veterans. They got to get that deal done by Tuesday morning.
All right, Mike, great stuff as always. Always enjoy checking in with you, and I'll be able to ask you these annoying contract questions in person starting next week, so I'm looking forward to that.
I can talk football. It feels like I haven't talked football since the draft, but I'm unreal at talking football too. Besides just being a business reporter.
That's
here.
Right. Well, we appreciate your work, Mike. We'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks, man.
All right. See you guys.
There he is, Mike Klis.
I love that guy.
I'm sure he's so sick of those questions, but we got to ask.